Is it okay if I take an hour? Is that alright? I always, you know, the later we start, I always feel like people need to get out, but it's been a long day, I'm sure. But we're going to be a lot more interactive tonight and a lot less sort of, you know, deductive, didactic sort of me talking. So to start, I wanted to see if, you know, how much we remembered from the other night. So I kind of have these 4 things up here, and I just want to ask you, you know, what you remember. So maybe we can run through them just by way of review. And I guess because there's so many people, I don't like the hand raise. Maybe can we try calling stuff out? Just people talk if they want. I prefer that. You know, a little more dynamic. We can talk to each other. You don't just have to talk to me. We'll see how that goes, as long as it doesn't get too chaotic. But anyway, so God's mission. Anybody want to take a crack at kind of remembering what is God's mission, or what did we say it was the other night? If you believe what we talked about.
Fill the earth with His glory.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
All right. Who can? Yeah. Who can?
Is it knowledge?
Yeah, go on. Is it Melody? Melody, yeah.
Yes, Melody. Yes, 2 days ago we also added the knowledge of His glory.
The knowledge of His glory. And how does anybody know the verse? How does the verse finish?
Like the waters of the sea.
Like the waters cover the sea, right? You know, I like that image. All right, good. Yeah, that's exactly right. So fill the earth with the knowledge of the glory of God, like the waters cover the sea. How about God's method?
Many means.
Many means, yeah. That's right, that's right. To make an image of himself and plop him in the, you know, center of Baghdad. Man's mission. What is man's mission?
Glorify God by enjoying Him forever.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. To glorify God, you know, we go with John Piper, you know, by enjoying Him forever, and I kind of add, right, and we do that by imaging Him. Well, sorry, actually, no, that's probably, I guess, the method, right? So, okay, man's method, anybody? Anybody else?
Cultivating and populating.
Yeah, actually, there, right, exactly. Imitate Him, and specifically, right, cultivating and populating, right? Very good. Excellent. You guys all get A's. I was asked earlier if I was giving a quiz at the end, and maybe we could do that if it was popular demand. I don't know.
Multiple choice.
Group quiz. Yeah, right. Okay, so tonight we're going to kind of continue with this theme of creation. Just to fill it in some more, right? And I just think these are really foundational. It's funny because I feel a little funny spending so much time. You know, we've got 3 classes. We're going to spend 3 of them in Genesis 1 through 3. So it feels like there's a lot more happening in the Bible, and yet somehow these seem foundational to me. So we're going to spend some more time. But what I want to do is spend like 5-10 minutes really giving you guys a chance on your own to read it and just kind of digest it and meditate on it. And what we're going to do specifically is an inductive method. Typically, the inductive method goes something like this, if you've seen this before. Observation, interpret. So observation would be, what does the text say? And it's very, sometimes I think we're very quick to jump to what does it mean, and we miss a lot of what it's saying. And so we wind up getting the meaning wrong oftentimes because we're not attentive. We don't pay close attention to what it is actually saying. What are the words on the page? And so we're going to do observation. I'm going to tell you more about that. That's really what I want you to do in this 10 minutes. Then interpretation. See, with computers, you don't have to know how to spell because it corrects computers. Interpretation, right? So now we're talking, what does it mean? And then application. And then what does it mean in my life, or how does it apply to my situation? How do we apply it? So observation, that's what I want to do in the next 10 minutes or so, and really just do it on your own. I'll ask you to do it on your own. And feel free to write stuff down. You know, you've got the text on the left there, so you can scribble all over it. You can circle stuff, underline, square, you know, whatever you want to do. And I think one of the easiest ways to do observation is to ask your basic interrogative questions. I mean, maybe you had this in like English class in junior high or something, right? So who, what, when, where, why, you know, your basic interrogative questions. And then other things you can look for, especially in the Bible, and especially in the Hebrew Bible, which is the Old Testament, are repeating words. Because there was the way the culture was, the way they wrote was to repeat words and repeat things, and that was kind of a way of emphasizing. So I think it's really helpful. You can look for repeating words. You really got to start to get a feel for, okay, what's the author really driving toward, or what are some of the really important points they're trying to highlight, and so repeating words is another way you can do that. Let me see, I think that's good enough, right? Common phrases, concepts, and then the other thing, the third thing is anything that just strikes you or raises a question in your mind. So interrogative questions, repeating words, phrases, concepts, and then anything that strikes you. Just kind of let it be free. All right, so let's take 10 minutes and go till 5 after 8. And I'm going to get paper towels to wipe this thing off. So yeah, go ahead. Just open it up. What did you observe? Sorry. Go ahead, Luke.
I had a bunch of questions. I'll pick the 3 that I think are most
Might not be answering all of these questions.
One is, why does the order of creation appear different?
Yeah, that's a great question.
2 is, why do we spend 4 verses on geography? And 3 is, why are we now worried about the step of God creating man not good? Like the first thing He's created not good because He doesn't have the helper. He saw that man was alone.
Oh, right,
not good.
right.
Why does the first chapter not care about that step, and now we're going into it?
Great question. Great questions. All right, real quick and short, because chapter 1 is focused on God and chapter 2 is focused on man. That's all you're getting tonight. All right, good. Great questions. Great questions. Very hard questions with lots of books written about them. Oh, Chris. Yeah. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Let me. I'm sorry. Pauline. Yeah.
So I was like looking for words that I saw repeated a lot, and one was tree. It's like 6 times.
Okay. Great.
And another word that I thought was interesting was the word work, which, like you first hear about it like with God, like He's doing all this work, and then like God, that was the first job He gave Adam to do, to work, and so I was like, wow, like work was created to be a good thing, So
good observation. Yeah. Good. Yeah, Alan. Oh, so what's that?
She said alive.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Good observations.
I thought it was interesting that like from 5 to 9-ish, man was made in like the first whatever day he was made, and then he was given life, and then he was placed in an environment where it wasn't all just kaboom like at one time. Which reminds me then, like if we're the same way, like we're made, and then we experience God's grace in our life, and then we are placed in an environment where we are to work that environment. And it reminded me of Jeremiah 29:7 of seek the welfare of the place where I have sent you, where like you go from you were made, then you were given God's grace of salvation, and then you were placed in to work and to bring God's glory to an environment. That was kind of interesting.
Great. Yeah.
Kind of along the lines of what Pauline was saying, like that God did it first and then man got to work, was that first God named everything and then He let man name stuff. So like it was like He called the sun, He called whatever it was, sky, sea, but then in the second, in Genesis 2, He's like, whatever man called each little creature, that was His name. So man got to do what God kind of did first.
Great. What else? Alan?
In all of these, except for one sentence, essentially like 1 or 2 sentences, the subject of this entire thing, the action doer, is all God. Any needs that he saw in man were filled by God, were provided by God. So he is the main object of this entire section, even though it's about man.
That's VI. Yeah. Those are the scores that came up. Let's go Rachel and then Melody. Yeah.
I thought it was interesting in verse 9 how God has already, it says the heavens and the earth have been completed, then God created man, and then he created more things specifically to bless the man. You know, trees that were pleasing to the eye and good for food. You know, like even from the very beginning, he was making special blessings for man.
Yep. Good. Melody, what you got?
So the first one is a question. So in verse 3, it says that God blessed the seventh day and made it holy. And I thought that was, talking about what it means that the seventh day is holy. And the significance of that and the blessing that he did, or the blessing, or like just the fact that he blessed it. I don't know. Okay, and then I also noticed that the phrase Lord God, the Yahweh God or something, appeared in verse 4, and it wasn't there in verses 1 through 3, and I wasn't sure if that was there or not.
Sorry, so God is the word used in 1 through 3, and Yahweh after, or the Lord after?
The Lord God is used after verse 4.
You ever hear anything about that before? That just came to you just now?
Yeah.
Very good. Very good observation. Very good observation. More books. More books. There's whole theories about why that is. But yes, you're right. That's right. Yeah. God is, Elohim is the Hebrew word used in certain sections. Yahweh would be the word used for the Lord in other sections. Lots of books about why that is. But those are great questions. Yeah. I'm sorry, tell me your name again.
Kate.
Kate, yeah.
So verses 5 through 7 talks about how he made the land, but he didn't make rain yet. And it sort of sounds kind of, in the beginning, that first verse, it sounds kind of like there's not going to be any plants or anything, but after that it says, but God provided the streams, or made the streams to provide for the plants to grow. So it's kind of, to me, it seemed like, reminded me of when God puts you in a situation where it seems like there's no way out, but then you realize, oh, there's a way out. He made it for me,
That's great. Good. Yeah. I'm sorry, tell me your name. Rachel as well? Okay, 2 Rachels. Yeah, good. Thank you.
Two things along the lines of the man name. I also noticed that God, it said that he brought the man to see what he would name him, so that means, I guess, man was made for creativity. That's word, I guess. And second thing I thought was this is a neat passage, especially for healthcare workers, because it's the story of the first surgery as well.
Yeah. Very good. Have you heard that before? You just go, that's excellent. That's excellent. This is really good.